Hey guys, I'm here today to show you my take on cheese crackers. Everybody makes these are a keto staple, so I wanted to show you what I do to make mine different. First of all, we're going to start out, and I've got these nice slices from Aldi. I use Munster, I use pepper jack. They even had a chipotle cheddar. I've used cheddar before. I find that the white cheeses, especially like Munster and the pepper jack, tend to really work well. They brown up really nicely. They don't get too brown. They don't get a funky flavor if you overcook them. So I tend to use the white cheeses more than the orange. Now what I'm doing is, if you see, every slice has one of these little papers between it so they don't stick together. So all I'm doing is I'm removing that paper from each slice and stacking it in a nice stack, because what we're going to do next is we're going to cut these. If you like your square cheese crackers, you know, like those ones with all the flour in them and all the bad ingredients, then you're probably going to like this recipe. Now this recipe is really easy, it's quick. This is one of my weekly prep things that I make on Sunday. I also bake my own bacon, and I will do a video on how I do that because I've not seen a video how I do it. So I'll show you how I do that one day. But so the first thing we do is we just get the cheese, and I have a really nice knife. It's a sharp knife, but it's also a long knife, which is important because we're just going to make one cut through this down the middle in one direction and down the middle in the other direction. And there you go. You have your cheese crackers made, mostly. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually put these on a baking sheet. One of the most important things to know is that you need parchment paper. I prefer the Reynolds brand. I have gotten the parchment from Dollar Tree, and Dollar General doesn't really carry it, and I have found that when it comes to parchment paper, it's worth paying the extra for the Reynolds name. The Dollar Tree stuff just was not good. It didn't work as well. So I definitely always get the brand name. This one has a grid on it, and I don't really use that. I'm not really good at cutting it off, but here it is on my baking sheet. And now all I'm going to do is take these slices and separate them. And I have a nice big baking sheet, thanks to my mom and dad. Shout out to Mom. Sometimes she watches my videos. And so this is one of the baking sheets that she gave me years and years ago, and I really love it because it's an oversized baking sheet. It's not those little ones. She actually got this at Sam's or Costco or something like that. I have a set of two. I love them, love them. They, especially when it comes to making stuff like this, you can do more on it. These are the baking sheets that I use to make all of my chicken legs too. So I'm sure you've seen my Instagram pictures of my baking sheets with all the chicken legs on it. I can usually fit about 12 to 14. I can usually fit a pound of bacon on here. And I do get a pound at a time. I don't get the 12-ounce packages. Okay, so how do I make these different? Well, one thing I do is I add salt. Now in this salt shaker, I have a mixture of dark, light, and white Himalayan salt. This is an OXO brand salt grinder, and I have it set on a really fine setting, so it'll kind of be more like a powder. You could use kosher salt, but I like the finer texture by hand grinding it this way. So this is why I always use this one. And as you can tell, I'm not really chintzy with the salt. These are going to be really great, and they're going to have a lot of flavor to them. Now, one thing I'm going to try today, because I'm in a kind of a spicy mood, is I'm also going to sprinkle it with a little bit of cayenne pepper. Now, you could choose any seasonings to put on this. You could do garlic and onion. You could do garlic and chive. You could do parsley and rosemary, you could do cracked pepper. I mean, this is a very versatile recipe. If you like flavored cheese crackers, then this is what you want to do. I am very, very lightly putting this on, and that's it. That's all I have to do. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and put this in a preheated oven. It is heated to 375 degrees, and I have found for my oven that it takes between 11 and 13 minutes to cook them. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these in my oven right now, and when I'm done, I'll be back. All right guys, we're back, and my cheese chips are out of the oven. I wanted to show you how yummy they look on the pan. Now these on this end, they probably could have gone a little bit more, maybe even that, this one up here. But overall, this is the kind of color that you want to see on your cheese chips. And I'll show you, I've let them sit for about 1 to 2 minutes, and I'll show you, they're really easy to just get off. This is one of my favorite flippers now. It used to be for pancakes, but now it's for cheese chips and bacon and all sorts of yummy stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those to the side and let them cool for a minute. While they're cooling, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this pan up a little bit more with the rest of the cheese that I have. And I just knew, as soon as I said rosemary, I had to do it. So I went out to my garden, where I have a very, very tiny rosemary plant that is getting used up quite quickly lately. I really love fresh rosemary, and I really utilize it in the summertime. So I went out and I grabbed a couple sprigs of rosemary, and I brought them in, and I took the leaves off, and I chopped them up really nice and finely, because we're gonna make these rosemary chips. And I'm gonna actually make sure that I get all of them on. I have just a few slices left, and I want to get them all on here so I can just make them all. Now, I think that the reason those ones didn't cook as well is because they were a little bit high. This doesn't fit all the way down in. So here's my rosemary, and I'm just going to lightly sprinkle it on all of these. Ooh, yum, yum. I love rosemary. Rosemary is one of my favorite spices. It's one of those that I can use without problems. And so I use it a lot. Rosemary, bay, you're gonna see a lot of that. Oregano in my dill in my recipes, because those are all spices that I can have. Now, I'm also going to go ahead and salt all of these as well, because I think that the salt helps to bring out the flavor of the cracker. And I'm going to go ahead and put these back in the oven for another 13 minutes. These did end up taking about 13 minutes. I know my oven pretty well by now, but the first time you make these, go ahead and be checking them at 10 minutes so that they don't over brown, because if they do over brown, they will get a kind of a weird flavor to them, and I just don't like them. And when I find that I've done that, I go ahead and I just throw that batch out. Now, I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what you can use with these. You've seen my video on cheese dip, my party cheese dip. And I'm going to go ahead and link down below to the party cheese dip video, so in case you want to see it, you can have it there. But I will go ahead and use these chips on the party cheese dip, and we'll use them for all sorts of things. The really crispy ones, like this one, we'll go ahead and we'll crumble them up and put them over our salad. If they're the spicy ones like this, we'll put them on taco salad. If they're the savory ones like the oregano, put them over a chicken salad or a steak salad. Or you can make up a cheese sauce, add some jalapenos to it. I got this cheese sauce at the store, so I'm gonna go ahead and try this right now. It wasn't a bad ingredients list. It's 1 gram per ounce, so it's not that bad. It's got a few jalapenos in it. It's called melting cheese or something like that. And so I'm gonna go ahead and try it. I made, the other day I made chipotle cheddar chips and I loved them. I got the chipotle cheddar from Aldi, and it was in the slices just like the Munster. And I tried it and it tasted great. And then that night I woke up and I had a horrible allergic reaction to them. So I'm hoping that I don't have any problems. Usually I don't have problems with cayenne pepper or fresh jalapeno, so I'm hoping that with this I shouldn't have too many problems either. But I'm gonna go ahead and just try it. It's really good. Now, like I said, you can just make a cheese sauce and add some jalapenos to it, and you can have nachos. Don't forget to add a little bit of ground beef, a little bit of lettuce and tomatoes and black olives and sour cream, and make them a loaded nachos if you want. But I love my chips. I can't have anything else crunchy really. I can't have pork rinds, and so I really kind of miss that party feel when we go somewhere. So I'll make up a bunch of these, and the last time I did, I'll tell you what, everybody ate my chips. I brought tortilla chips for them to use with the dip that I had made for me, and when I left that night, my tortilla bag had not been opened and all of my cheese chips were gone. So this is going to be a party pleaser. This is going to be something that you can make and take with you, and you won't feel awkward, and that everybody's going to love. Again, I really like the spice on this. I always like a little bit of spice with things. And then I'm really excited to try the oregano ones, or excuse me, rosemary ones. I'm not going to show you those because they're going to come out looking about like this, and you're not going to be able to tell if they taste good or not, but I will. But anyway, so go ahead and try this recipe. Comment down below what spices you used on yours. Tell me what you would use these for, and what flavors of cheeses you've tried that you really like. And also, go ahead and let me know if you want to try anything else, any other simple recipes. And also, don't forget to like this video so I know that I should keep making these for you guys. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you like my unique take on cheese crackers, or cheese chips, whatever you want to call them. And I hope you have a great day.